Hello, everyone. My name is Amin, and I'm a Chief Scientific Officer at IV Farm Technologies based in Oxford. Perhaps we can start with a show of hands. Put your hand up if you love meat. And if you just keep that up in the air, and if you put the other hand if you like the environment and planet. Now, here's the problem. It's difficult to put, it's about 75%, I must say, or more probably. It's difficult to put both hands up whilst we know the inconvenient fact that the meat industry essentially brings the second largest greenhouse gas emission, about 18%. That is second to the energy and higher than the transportation altogether. So what is the problem? Farming practices are really better than ever. Our animals are of the King Kong size. They grow very fast. They're quite efficient. But the problem is the fundamental biology. Animals are just not very efficient at calorie conversion. So if you look here, chicken, for example, takes 7 calories in a form of food and gives us about 1 calorie back in a form of meat or protein. Worse, pork, for example, is 15-to-1 ratio. And worst of all is beef, for example, 25 calories in, 1 calorie out. So what's the solution here? Well, we can all go vegetarian, but that process has been ongoing and it's not efficiently fast enough. Here at IV Farm, we have found a solution to this. Agnostic of species, whether that's pork, beef, or chicken, or any other, venison, for example, our conversion is 3-to-1. So 3 calories or 3 energy units, giving us 1 as an output. So our cultivated meat is changing the game as far as the food tech is concerned around the meat. 92% reduction in the greenhouse gas emission. We anticipate 90% of the reduction in the land use, which is going to be critical when we hit the population by 2050 to about 10 billion. And 66% reduction in the water usage, whilst we provide a healthy minced beef, which is high in iron, low in saturated fat, no antibiotics, no disease risk, and the bioburden, the bacteria, there are no bacteria because this is in an aseptic condition. So that's a longer shelf life. And all of that, we do it in 2 weeks' time. Compare that to 2 years of a span of a cow. So here at IV Farm, we've got a top-class leadership with deep expertise in whether that's biotech, consumer products, or the food products, with a fantastic more than 40 scientists and engineers coming up with the innovation to bring the cultivated meat industry a reality. Let's start with the PACE. PACE really stands for Precision Attribute Cell Engineering. So what we do, we really take the stem cells from a live animal, let's say cow, muscle, and then we genetically edit it using the CRISPR. And that edit essentially brings variety of attributes to these cells. For example, allowing them to grow very fast, keeping them hardy, let them grow in rough environment of fermenters, for example, allowing them to culture in very lean, cheap media, which reduces the cost of goods and so on. And we have about 11 patents that we have filed to protect that PACE platform. We also are focusing on the CapEx light production facility, and we would invite you to come over to Oxford to take a look. This is Europe's biggest pilot plant, powered by solar panel. It's a repurposed fermenter where we grow our cells. And again, genetic engineering helps us, the hardy cell and so on, to allow us to grow these cells in this cheap fermenter, repurposed. And also, we've got an offtake agreement. We focus on the premium meat. I'll come to that in a minute. But Fortnum and Mason, for example, we are B2B. So they have provided us an offtake agreement for the Wagyu beef of 3,500 tons a year. So let's deep dive in the PACE attribute, what exactly that is. So our cell lines enable us to scale up and bring the cost of goods down. As I mentioned, we've got 11 patents. Of those, 8 are around the cell lines, and the rest of them are cell culture media, and the process combined together allow us to produce the meat, which is of healthy quality. We've got range of different species that we have generated from the cells, including halal. Bringing that into the CapEx light scale-up, and we've got a partnership with a SynBio Power Lab. It's a Finnish manufacturing firm which has the capacity to produce up to 12,000 metric ton a year cultivated meat. And we also have exclusive agreement for the components which really brings the cost down significantly. For example, Cargill and a few others who provide the cell culture media at a food grade and a cheaper scale. All of this together provides a quality minced product that's muscle and fat in just 2 weeks with the top class nutritionals. And of course, we are partnering with a variety of large brands. So again, these are the cell line attributes, as I mentioned, whether that's a growth, speed, making the cells grow in a suspension environment in the bioreactor, whether letting the cells grow without any protein present in it, very lean media, no hormones, no growth factors, cheap media. And this all IP belongs to us, so nobody else can use it as well, although we have fantastic licensing deals as well if someone wants to use our IP. So put it together, IV Farm unlocks the cell growth and has defensible IP in the meat sector, but meat sector is not the only one. Our platform tag that includes the cell engineering, media, and the upscale, scale-up processes that is quite applicable to the bioproteins, for example, cultivated collagen, leather. More importantly, antibodies using the CHO and the HAC293 cells, where we produce the monoclonal antibody to treat variety of disease. Again, our platform can help engineer the cells and produce them at the cost of goods reduced manner. We can act as a CDMO service as well to provide the cell lines. So that's our portfolio. As you can see, every piece of food that you see that's produced by IV Farm here in Oxford. And our focus is Wagyu burger. It's a premium brand, Angus, venison, pate, and foie gras, and so on. And you may have seen this from the popular news agency. We did a little bit of an experiment with Fortnum & Mason, a premium brand that was found about 350 years ago, popular in royals, and they are known for Scotch eggs. So they took our cultivated beef and made the Scotch egg, world's first Scotch egg that was used using the cultivated meat. And this was heavily covered by a variety of media houses as well. So let's talk about the nutritionals. As you can see, the gray and the green bars, supermarket versus the IV Farm's minced meat, quite matchable as far as the amino acid profile is concerned. But what's interesting is our product is high in iron. It's high in omega-3 and 6, significantly high. It's low on the saturated fat. And it's quite enriched with the vitamin B12. So it's almost like a dream. If you're eating a burger, you're not feeling guilty as well. It's healthy. So let's talk about the business case here. So the meat industry itself is expected to grow from $1.2 trillion now to $2 trillion by 2050. With a population increase, that may be more. Our focus is cultivated meat, and the analysts suggest that the cultivated meat industry is going to be about $600 billion US by 2050. So quite a large proportion of that. Our focus is, as I said, is a premium brand here. So foie gras, venison, Wagyu, and Aberdeen Angus, and we have all of these in-house now. And we have filed an FDA as well as FSA, which is the UK regulatory applications, and we anticipate them to be approved sometime later this year or early next year. So we've got a compelling business case. As I said, Finnebrook reached out to us. They've got a Wagyu herd, but they are not able to expand this herd. So they said, why don't you take the cells out and grow them and let us taste how it looks, how it tastes, how is the umami. So we did that, and they loved it. So as a result, we got an offtake agreement with Finnebrook, which essentially produces the meat, the premium brand, and provides that to likes of Marks and Spencer's. So we've got an offtake agreement with Finnebrook. We also have an MOU with Marks and Spencer's, as well as American company Griffith Food, and as I mentioned, the SynBio for the production. So healthy profits from the first large-scale plant. As you can see, by 2029, we anticipate our net revenues would be over $250 million US, and we would start to be in the net revenue gain by 2025. So as soon as we start to scale up, by 29, you're looking at the profit margins close to 50%. So what's the proposition here? So far, we are in the pilot plant, proof of concept stage. We've raised Series A, $40 million US with $80 million valuation. Our cost parity currently is $350 a kilo at the small scale. And we were planning to start raising for the Series B at some point next year. But in between the two, currently there's an opportunity for an extension of Series A or pre-Series B convertible note of $10 million US with a 20% discount and $150 million valuation cap. With a very clear exit strategy through the strategic acquisition or IPO from 2027 onwards. And check us out. We are on the internet on a variety of different media houses. And I would welcome you to Oxford if you want to try our cultivated meat. It would be an experience. Thank you.